this will be a pretty recent video after the last one, but like I'm trying to keep my videos kind of separate for advice, just so that you don't have to watch like an hour-long thing. So like, this is my next video. My next video is about prevention. And I think this is a very important topic because we don't want people to get to where Jeffrey was, you know, like, and I don't mean the actual death. I mean beforehand, where every day starts becoming a challenge. Every day is difficult. Every day is hard to just keep your head up. And I've been there. Like I know exactly what he went through because I've been there. I don't know. I can't say that I've been through exactly what he went through. Actually, I went through my own depression when I was younger. I fought with my parents a lot. Now, a lot of this is actually my own fault, but like, I fought with my parents a lot. I used to like live on the streets and stuff, and like live under bridges, and like I used to sneak into McDonald's to sleep on the floor and stuff like that. And I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone, and I felt so alone. Then I started picking myself up, and you know, like it's a miracle that I kind of got out of it, you know? Like when you're depressed, you kind of just want to die, and it sucks. Like it really sucks. And it sucks that Jeffrey had to go through that. I loved him so much. The prevention part though isn't how to deal with that. The prevention is actually stopping that before it even gets there, before somebody even gets into depression, you know? I find that the biggest reason that I was in depression was because I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone. I felt alone, you know, like I felt outcasted, and I felt like nobody loved or cared about me at the time. Or if like, cause like, how could like people let me get to this place, you know? If they cared about me, why didn't I get to like, how did I even get to this place? And like, I guess that's the really hard part, you know? So the prevention steps though, is you have to start young. For people who are the same age as their brothers and their siblings, I get it. You know, you're fighting all the time. You can't do anything about that. But for parents, it's a little bit different. I know that you're doing your best, and I 100% agree you're doing your best. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's always ways to improve. I'm not telling anyone how to raise their kids. I'm just trying to give advice so that you don't have a son that you lose, you know? Your children don't have a sibling they lose. Because like that is the absolute worst thing you can do. So a big thing is learning to listen. And I mean learning to listen. This is something that's actually quite difficult for anyone and everyone, because like you're not exactly taught how to listen, you know? Your parents don't like, honestly, your parents don't exactly teach you how to listen. I don't know, I'm sure there's parents that do, like they talk to their children and they just sit there and they just listen. Like my friend Josh, he's an amazing parent for that. Like his children, they're just so open and they talk. And like this is advice that I'm getting from him, is that learning to listen, and how you listen is my best advice for listening is you don't look for solutions. You don't try to fill in with solutions. You don't tell them how to fill in solutions. One of the reasons why I grew up feeling alone was because I didn't feel listened to. And the biggest reason I didn't feel listened to is because anytime that I try to talk to my parents, anytime I tried to express myself, I would get kind of shut down. And you get shut down in different ways. In fact, you get told you're being silly, or they tell you a bunch of solutions how to fix it, you know, or they're like, it's not as bad as you think. They're like these are all ways that you shut down someone, you know, and then you kind of train them not to talk to you. And then you're sitting there wondering why they're not talking to you, but in reality, like, it's your own fault that they won't talk to you, because you know what, you've been shutting them down for years and years, and you don't really think about that, you know, like, and that's fair. It's fair. Like, you get used to your children, you get used to things, but like, honestly, like, if you want your kid to talk to you, you got to show them how to talk. You got to show them how to deal with their emotions properly, you know. And that's the prevention in it all. It's just like learning to show them how to deal, you know? Like, when I talk to someone, my brother Quill told me that the reason that people talk to me is because I'm compassionate. And the reason I'm compassionate, like, is because I make myself vulnerable to allow you to be vulnerable. So one thing that I'll do is I will be like, hey, you know what? I went through something similar. I went through, like, this happened to me and this happened, and it made me feel sad, you know? Like, here, I'll give you an example, okay? And this is the example to help you understand how you should talk to someone, or get someone to open up to you so that they can talk to you. So, first, what I'll do is I'll apologize, you know? Like, I'm sorry that you had to go through that, you know? And then what you have to do is you have to look into yourself. You have to look within. You have to look within for pain, because that's how you're going to relate, you know. My pain, when my brother died, I walked in and I see my family there, and they're all looking at me with sad eyes. And my brother Quill, he hugs me, and I just start breaking down. And I break down so hard, and I'm like, please don't say it's Jeffrey, please don't say it's Jeffrey. And for a second there, I think maybe it's somebody else, and I'm like, okay, thank God. And they sit me down, and no, it's Jeffrey, and it's just, it kills me. It's the worst possible thing ever. That's pain. That's my pain. In order to talk about that, I have to make myself vulnerable. In order to express myself, I have to make myself vulnerable. If you want to show your kids how to talk, you have to learn to be vulnerable with your kids. If you want to show people how to talk about their pain, you have to show your pain to them. You have to be vulnerable. And it's a courage. It's a huge courage to be vulnerable. It's very hard to be vulnerable because we're so used to protecting ourselves. But you know what's worse than making yourself vulnerable for a few seconds so that somebody can talk? Is losing someone because you didn't know how to show them how to be vulnerable or how to talk. So you're not sitting there wondering why they didn't talk to me. Why didn't they say anything? Why didn't they know? I knew Jeffrey was in pain. For 3 years I knew. Me and my brother Quill, we were dealing with it for 3 years. It's not like we didn't try. We tried. Me and my family, we tried. We can't say anything bad about what we've done because we all tried. We all spent time with Jeffrey. He was such an amazing guy. It was hard not to spend time with him. Listening isn't about solving anything. Listening isn't about telling them they're wrong or making them feel stupid. It's not about making them feel better, in fact. You don't have to make them feel better. The whole thing is that they just need someone to talk to. They just need to be heard. They just need to be able to express themselves. Allowing them to talk is the real act of prevention. And you want to start young. You want to do this young. You want to build a foundation where they feel secure so they can talk. And then you'll know how to build them up properly. That you'll know how to set a foundation for people. That's important. Making them feel good about themselves, making them feel like they're like somebody cares, that's what people need. I didn't do that for Jeffrey my entire life. I wasn't the best brother. I have to admit that. That part's true. If I had known better, I would have done better, but I didn't know better. Teaching people how to treat other people. That's what's important. You don't want to lose your brother. You don't want to lose your sister. You start early. You don't want to lose your kids. You start early. You show them how to express themselves. You give them options on how to be healthy. If somebody draws, let them draw. You know? That's my advice. If you want to... Okay, I'll recap real quick. If you want to prevent something like this from happening, you have to learn to listen. You don't talk back. You don't, like, my parents, they used to be like, on my native side specifically, me and my mom, I'd never listen to my mom. On the white side, I'd always yell at her and everything. Yeah, we get into huge fights. Anyways, but on my dad's side, I'd get in so much trouble if I didn't sit there and just listen to my grandparents and my parents and everything. Well, honestly, like adults should be doing that for their kids too. You know, if kids talk, you should listen. Kids don't know how to express themselves. Teenagers don't know how to express themselves. Not properly. They don't know what the proper way to express yourself is. They don't know how to get angry properly. In fact, that carries on. Many people don't know how to get angry properly. Many people don't know how to get sad properly. Many people don't know how to be happy properly, in a proper way, in a healthy manner. And that's what leads to addictions. That's what leads to pain. That's what leads to just misuse, misconduct, you know? When somebody gets angry and they punch the wall, well, they don't know how to express themselves properly, so they get angry. And that's fair. They weren't taught how to do this. If you know how to deal with your anger properly, then you teach someone. If you know how to deal with your sadness properly, you teach someone. Information isn't meant to be kept, you know? We've gone into this age where we're capable of sharing all of our intellectual advancements, but when it comes to our emotional advancements, we kind of get stagnant. Many people don't know what to do, and we're all learning right now how to share it, how to be there for other people. You know? Anyways, that's my advice for prevention. Learn to properly listen and teach people how to deal with their emotions properly in a proper manner so that they can talk in a healthy way.